So, Hester, tell me, when did your journey with Lamar start?
Our journey started on Christmas Eve, or well, a little before actually, but on Christmas Eve, December 24th, I did a pregnancy test and I found out that I was pregnant. So that's how. That's not when it started, but if you ask me now when did the journey with Lamar start, I would say December 24th. Yeah, that's when I found out I was pregnant just before the holiday season, and yeah, finishing off the year in work wise, I was super busy on the job. My pregnancy was going pretty good. I wasn't feeling any sickness, any loss of energy whatsoever. I was feeling just fine. So we jumped over from 2020 to 2021, and I continued the work. I continued my social life. I was doing the things that I was used to, working out, enjoying time with family and friends. And then I started to feel some pain, so I went for a checkup by the gynecologist, but everything was okay. And but of course, with the fibroids that I was dealing with, the gynecologist said that's gonna give you some trouble the next couple of months. The fibroids and the baby are gonna fight for space. So she said, don't worry too much about it now. But yeah, fast forward in time, March 2025 was when the pain was literally, I couldn't hold it no more. It was unbearable. So that's and I started to lose some blood. So I ended up in a hospital. I was admitted by my gynecologist. So that was my first hospitalization for a week, mainly for observation, because the blood loss was more or less under control. But the gynecologist decided to keep me there just for observation. Like, let's see how this is going. So on April 2nd, they decided to discharge me. Just go home, full bed rest, so no more work, no more outside activities, no more working out. Just home, relax, rest, and make sure that you bring this pregnancy to a good end. So that's what I did. And unfortunately, on April 21st, that's when I got in the hospital again. My second time in St. Maarten Medical Center, and I was 19 weeks then. First hospitalization was 16 weeks of pregnancy, and the second one 19 weeks. And again, same thing, blood loss and not feeling well. And yeah, the fact that my cervix was so super short due to the bleedings and the cramps the first time, there was only a very short cervix to hold the uterus and the baby. So the gynecologist came during the rounds in the morning, and the message was basically, we're 19 weeks pregnant now, and your cervix is so short, and the bleedings they basically continue. So this is this is basically the baby is gonna come anytime soon. And the fact that you're only 19-20 weeks now means that the baby is way too premature to survive. So the baby will be born, but we can't do much for you right now, or we can't do anything at all. That was basically the message. So the gynecologist left, and I was there in the room with a whole bunch of questions in my head, like how is this gonna go? Is the baby gonna be born just like that, natural way? Do I have to go OKA? How am I going to deliver a dead baby. How is this gonna go, and will I be okay? So many questions came to surface, and at the same time I was too afraid to ask, and yeah, nobody really paid attention, so to speak. So that was just me there in the room feeling, I don't even know how to describe what I was feeling, but it was a certain, like we said, a certain numbness. I was like, okay, I don't know, silent. So I went back in bed, and that was it. And that's how hours and eventually days passed by until the doctor came again on April 28th, and with a message that it was time for discharge again, with the baby still inside. So I was confused. I was really confused because the baby was on its way, was gonna be born anytime soon, and we're now 7 days ahead in time again. So another week added to my pregnancy, and yeah, I was confused. So I was home again, but the gynecologist in St. Martin, they came together and they decided to fly me out to Curacao. So at a certain point, May 8th to be precise, I got airlifted to Curacao, and it was a question actually still if we were allowed to touch down in Curacao, because Curacao was still in a full lockdown. So that was until the very last moment a big question mark, but that all went well. So in a tiny little plane, 3.5 hours from Curacao, or from St. Martin to Curacao, and my file was handed over by my gynecologist in St. Martin to Dr. Voigt. And that was one of the things that in this whole roller coaster or journey that we just call it, but it was one of the best things, because the first WhatsApp message that I received after touchdown was Dr. Voigt, like, Hester, welcome in Curacao. I took over your file from your gynecologist in St. Martin, and I will be taking care of you. This is my private number. In case of anything, just let me know. And I would like to see you, whether today, tomorrow, just let me know. So that was my new lifeline in Curacao, basically. So that made me feel so good in this situation full of uncertainties. May 8th, May 14th, the third hospitalization, same thing, same situation, blood loss, etc. And I was admitted in CMC. I was 24 weeks pregnant then. It was on a Friday night that I decided to call Dr. Voigt, like what to do, and he said, okay, I'm gonna call the hospital, I'm gonna let them know that you're on your way. And I was 24 weeks, bleedings got under control. So on the Saturday morning, the gynecologist on call in CMC decided to discharge me. But then I started to ask questions, because my gynecologist in St. Martin already prepared me a little bit, and she said, Hester, when we come to a certain week, from 24, 25, 26 weeks, we can start giving you dexamethasone, which is gonna help the baby to develop the lungs a little better, the brains a little better, to support the growth actually, or the development, I must say. So when the gynecologist said you're ready for discharge, I asked, like, what about the medications to help the development of the lungs and the brains? How about that? And she said, well, yeah, if you really want that, that's possible, but then you have to stay another night. So I said, then I stay another night. So I received my first injection of dexamethasone on a Saturday morning, the next one on a Sunday morning, and Sunday afternoon I was good to go. So I left CMC, of course still full of insecurity and uncertainty, because I felt myself that the baby was coming anytime soon, even though they where the doctors were not of the same opinion really. And 2 days after, same story, I called Dr. Voigt. I said, Doc, this is same situation, but the bleeding got a little worse. So Dr. Voigt said, okay, take it easy, just make sure you rest. Let's see for at least 2 hours how it's gonna go, and then call me. So after 2.5 hours, I called Dr. Voigt and said, well, it got worse. So he said, okay, same thing, I'm gonna call the hospital, I'm gonna let them know that you're on your way. So 6 o'clock in the evening, I reached CMC in a wheelchair, where it was a little unclear, by the way, where to go to, because as a OB/GYN patient, you're not supposed to go to the ER, but you're supposed to go to the maternity ward one time. But after hours, nobody really knew, or nobody could really explain us where to go. There was only this lady behind the registration desk, and she was basically holding us hostage there, because she said, I need to see your papers, I need to see this, I need to see that. And I was sitting there in a wheelchair and I couldn't hold it anymore. That was really, to me, that's really a hiccup in the process, because a lady behind the registration desk can't hold back a person who is ready to deliver while she's asking for all kind of paperwork. So thank God I wasn't alone, but that was an unnecessary hold up. But that's just a side note. So yeah, 6 o'clock I ended up on the OB/GYN ward in CMC, and the doctor there, she's I think Anios, she was very pleasant and helpful, and she tried to calm us, and just monitoring. So I was all wired up to see what the situation was with the baby, with myself. And so it started. They kept asking me, like, do you feel contractions, you feel harde buiken? And I was like, I'm a first timer, so I have no clue what is harde buiken and what am I supposed to feel with contractions. But of course on the monitor they could also see that I had contractions. So that's when they decided to give me certain medication tablets that I got I can't really remember, but I think every 30 minutes, to try to stop the contractions, or at least to slow down the process. But that didn't work. So in the meantime, the doctor who was attending to us, she called in the gynecologist. The gynecologist on call, so that wasn't Dr. Voigt, but I was on the phone with Dr. Voigt, so he was very much involved in the situation. But the gynecologist on call came, and he started to talk with me, and he said, do you want to go OR for a C-section? And I said, no, we're not going to the operation room. I don't want a C-section. We're just gonna go with the flow, and then we'll see. So he said, okay, then this is gonna take a while, and I have to go OK, so I will be back. And so he left, and in the meantime the contractions started to get more intense, and I think about 2 or 3 hours after, my water broke and Lamar was born with his feet first. So one of the nurses had to jump on top of the bed to help me push, because Lamar got stuck at a certain point. But my water broke, and he came with his feet first and then his head. And what I didn't realize, but the room was all of a sudden full of people. So all kind of nurses, the doctor, the NICU nurse was there, and they also called in the neonatologist. So the neonatologist was there with the panda, and I was with my back towards the door, so I had no clue who all was lined up behind me to receive our baby. And the sad part, and that's something that I'm still struggling with a little bit, is that just right after the delivery, I didn't dare to look at my own baby, because I wasn't I wasn't sure whether he was alive or not. So I was with my back against the door and everybody else, and I didn't want to look. So I had no clue what was going on. And then when things when things were a little more under control, but the baby was still there, Lamar was still there. One of the NICU nurses, Nurse Misha, was there, and she said, "Congratulations." She took off her mask because, of course, in the room everybody masked up, and you don't see any faces or persons, but you just see the suits and the mask, which is a terrible experience because, of course, it's human beings behind those masks. But that's what the situation is today. But she took off her mask and she said, "Congratulations, Mama." And I was like, what is she talking about? I still couldn't grasp the fact that I delivered a baby boy, Lamar, that he was there. She said, "Congratulations." So okay, they of course they took off, they rushed off to the NICU. I didn't know, but they went, and Dr. Duque was also there. She was in the room, and I didn't know, but they were all there. So we got a minute to. I had a minute to catch myself a little bit and freshen up a little bit, and then I said, "Okay, I want to go to the NICU now." He was born 6 minutes after 10, and it was around 12 o'clock when I was ready to sit up again and freshen up a little bit. And I said, "Okay, I want to go to the NICU." So we did. One of the nurses brought us to the NICU, and that's where we met Dr. Duque. And she explained us the situation, and that he was actually doing pretty well. And then I said, "Okay, I want to see Lamar. I want to see our son." And that's where another nurse was welcoming us to the NICU, and he said, "Well, we're currently busy with Lamar, and it might be a better idea if you come back tomorrow, because then he will look a bit vriendelijker." And I understood what he was saying, but I said, "No, I want to see him now. I really want to see him now." He said, "Of course, you're welcome to step in." So I did. And after that it's a complete blank out, because I can't remember that I was inside the NICU and that I saw Lamar there. I can't remember. My first memory is the next morning when we came back to the NICU. So that's when my memory, that's when my NICU journey starts, the next day. But so that's the start of our, like I said, our NICU journey. And totally the farthest place possible from your comfort zone, of course. And then all these medical terms that are new to us, like the open ductus and the bradycardia and the monitor beeping all the time, the saturation drops, the NIF, the high flow, the low flow, the medications. Oh my goodness, I had no clue. But the good thing is I really felt the warmth of the people, because coincidentally on that first day, May 19th, I bumped into Dr. Shirley Loanyu. And of course her mask up until here, my mask up until here. So she was looking at me, I was looking at her. I said, "Dr. Loanyu." She said, "Huh? Hester?" I said, "Martin?" I said, "Yeah." She said, "Maar, what are you doing here?" I said, "Well, my baby is inside the NICU." She said, "Huh? Oh, we need to do coffee." She said, "Tomorrow morning I'll come back and we're gonna have a coffee together, because I need to know what's going on." So the next day we met, and she literally took me by the hand to the Ronald McDonald home, and that was my huiskamer for 4 months, because I really felt the warmth and the love, and it was a little sanctuary for me. Not per se to talk all the time, but just to sit, to relax, and to pick yourself back up, to go back in. So that was one of the best things that happened to me you know, our stay in CMC. The dedication of the people, also the ladies in Ronald McDonald making videos, because we couldn't go to visit all the time, so they made videos to send to the parents, etc. So that was just warm and welcoming. It was really a big help, and never any expectations. So just step in, sit down, be yourself, talk, don't talk, it's all good. So that was really, really pleasant. Yeah, and of course a lot happened in between, but on August 4th we moved away from NICU to high care. We stayed there for quite some time, 2 weeks to be precise, and then we slowly worked towards discharge, thank God. And August 23rd, that's when the pediatrician on the pediatric ward decided to discharge us, or I'm saying us, but Lamar. And so yeah, Dr. Duque said, okay, stick around for at least 2 weeks, because I would like to see you guys back in my polyclinic so that I can do the first checkup and see how you guys manage at home. And so stick around for 2 weeks and then we'll see after. So yeah, our first checkup in CMC was August 27, and that was also the day when I counted my 14th week of pregnancy. So that was our first checkup and the full term of my pregnancy. And yeah, after that it was back to our suites in Martenland.
And how are you doing now?
Oh yeah, we're doing good. We're doing fine. Adjusting to the new situation still, because those months in the hospital are they have such high impact, and it's such a huge drill. They really drill, like, okay, this is how we do it. They drill you into a certain routine. And now being home, you of course have to find your own ways, your own routine, your own ways of doing things, life. And yeah, so we're adjusting, but we're doing good. Yeah.
Thank you so much for sharing.
Yeah, you're welcome.